We're live.
Okay, we're alive. This is a good sign. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call the regular meeting of January 24th to order at 6:04. Sorry for the delay tonight. It's nice to see people here. I'd like to start with land acknowledgement. I'd like to acknowledge that the town of Winnipeg Beach is located on First Nations Treaty 1 territory, the traditional territory and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, the Cree, the Oji-Cree, the Dene, and the Dakota people, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties made on these territories. We dedicate ourselves to move forward with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration, to make Manitoba an inclusive and accessible place for everyone who lives here.
Be it resolved, the agenda for the January 24th, 2024 regular meeting of council be approved as per the following additions/deletions. Addition/deletion, media training for council. Addition, traffic logics, cloud renewal contract. Addition, 2024 Connects conference.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis, thank you. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Jenkins? Thank you. All in favor?
Yep.
Carried. I just want to actually acknowledge that Councillor Kozlowski is out of town, as is Councillor Gendron. She's joining us by phone, and Councillor Cool is not well today. So there's only two of us sitting in the room, and Councillor Gendron's on the phone listening.
Be it hereby resolved that the minutes of the January 10th, 2024 regular meeting be approved as circulated.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. Seconder, please.
Yep.
Thank you, Councillor Gendron. Did everybody get an opportunity to read the minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions, comments, points of discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Yep.
Carried.
Be it hereby resolved that council approves the accounts payable listing being check number 22417 to 22471, inclusive of checks, electronic payments, and payroll issued in the amount of $106,598.72.
Can I get a mover, please?
Yep.
Councillor Gendron. Seconder, please, Councillor Jarvis. Thank you. Did everybody have an opportunity to look at accounts payable?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions, comments, points of discussion?
Nope.
Nope. All in favor?
Yep.
Carried.
Unfinished business 8.1, garbage and recycle tender, final review.
Can I get a mover, please?
There's no
Okay.
resolution.
There's no resolution.
It's just,
Okay, so Councillor Gendron and Councillor Jarvis, did you get a chance to take a look at this? You see that our CAO has changed it according to our direction from last council meeting. Are there any other comments before this goes out?
No.
Councillor Jarvis?
No, appreciate all your work on this, Sharon. We kept flip-flopping on a couple of things, and you managed to stay in step with us, so thank you for that.
Yes, thank you very much, Sharon.
okay, so it
Okay.
is good to go.
Good to go.
Beautiful. New business 9.1, request for street closure and beer gardens. Be it resolved that council authorize the closing of Main Street between Center Ave and Murray Ave on the weekend of February 17th to 18th, 2024 for the purpose of accommodating a road hockey tournament and horseshoes hosted by Shenanigans on the Beach Restaurant and Patio as part of the wonderful winter weekend activities. And further be it resolved that council authorize Public Works Department to provide barricades, create snow walls, and provide sand to accommodate the event. And be it further resolved, council approve a semi-heated beer gardens on Shenanigans patio area.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. Can I get a seconder, please?
Yep.
Thank you, Councillor Gendron. People will Remember that Shenanigans often does this for our WWW event. And the only difference is that they are also asking to be able to have semi-heated beer gardens, and it's only going to be on Shenanigans patio on the sidewalk there. Any discussion?
No.
Yep. I'm wondering if the resolution be amended to say, as per Manitoba liquor, lotteries, and gambling, or whatever they are these days, rules for the beer garden.
Yeah, subject to approval.
Okay, subject to approval.
By MCLM
Mm-hmm.
or MLCC or whoever.
On together,
They commented on that in their letter, that is their intent anyways, that, they have to get their approval and things, so if that could just be included in the resolution, we're not asking them to do anything they weren't planning on doing.
Yep, that makes sense.
so,
I think this is wonderful. This is sort of following in the direction that we are looking to see some of our recreation go, more community driven, and hats off to Missy, Shannon, and their team for wanting to not just keep this going, but now expanding it to something a little even bigger with the addition of the beer garden.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
so just the last paragraph, and be it further resolved, council approve a semi-heated beer gardens on Shenanigans patio area, subject to approval by LGCA.
Yeah, whatever they're,
That's it.
is it MLGCA or
No,
just LGCA?
Liquor
Whatever it
gaming.
is, Sharon?
Yes, it's LGCA.
Okay, yes, please, and thank you.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Yep.
Carried.
Alright,
There we go.
9.2.
We're just zipping through this, aren't
Whereas at the August 23rd, 2023 regular meeting of council, resolution 2023/279 was passed, wherein council would not appoint any new members to the fire department until 2024 unless an emergent situation occurs. And whereas a request from the fire chief has been received requesting a lift of the hiring freeze. Therefore, be it resolved that council support applications to the volunteer fire department for the 2024 fiscal year. And further be it resolved, council directs administration to list the recruitment poster on the town's website and social media page.
Cool. Can I get a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Jarvis. Seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Gendron.
Yep.
Sorry, I just thought I would, cut the chase. Any discussion on this? Councillor Gendron?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor?
Yep.
Carried.
Nine point three, be it hereby resolved that council approve blank to attend the climate adaptation and disaster mitigation workshop being held at the Lakeview in Gimli on February 14th, 2024 from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. with no registration fee. Out-of-pocket expenses and travel per diem are applicable.
Can I get a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Jarvis. A seconder, please.
Yep.
Thank you. I had attended this last year. I'm unable to attend on February 14th because I have another meeting I'm going to be in that day. Councillor Jarvis, are you interested?
No.
No?
No, we have a meeting too on the 14th that night, so.
Yeah, we have a council meeting that evening.
Yeah, so that'll be like all day and into the night, so.
Yeah, I know. Councillor Gendron?
Based on your attendance last year, Mayor Jackson, is it something you believe is relevant information for the town?
Well, for sure it's relevant. It's looking at what, potential disasters could be happening for us in our town. And, I think that what we focused on last year was the potential for tornadoes and what can be done about that. So it certainly was helpful information.
Now, would it be suitable for his name escapes me, to attend, our emergency coordinator.
Oh, I think Don Ames is involved in it.
In the actual, so it is geared.
Yeah.
Okay, I will make an effort to attend. Sharon, what is the deadline for you to RSVP on it?
I don't believe there is, let me look
I think I
here.
saw one.
Yeah, I didn't see where there was a deadline for RSVP.
No.
Are you attending, Sharon?
I wasn't planning on it. It's
Okay, then
council
no.
meeting and
No,
my day
yeah.
is quite
Yeah, no, that's
hectic.
fine. You can put me down, and I will make every effort to go. I'll keep you posted if I'm not able to attend. And if I'm just thinking, Councillor Hole and Councillor Kozlowski aren't here today.
Mm-hmm.
Just wondering if all three of our names can go on there, and it's one of us going.
Can we say that council approves one of the councillors?
Yeah.
To attend?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
we say that, sure?
Just, there's less expense involved if it's Larry or Barry going, if they're interested, as opposed to me coming out from the city, so. But I will definitely attend if, I'll attend if neither of them are interested in going.
I'm thinking Councillor Kozlowski actually might be interested.
Has there been any thought in reference to our public works / utility manager, if this would be of interest and of value, given we're dealing with emergency? I can have the resolution read, council approve up to 3 representatives. Does that work for council?
That's a very good idea, actually. And see if PW,
There is no cost for the.
there is no cost.
So be it resolved that council approve up to 3 representatives to attend the Climate Adaptation and Disaster Mitigation Workshop being held at the Lakeview and Gimli on February 14th, 2024 from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. with no registration fee. Out-of-pocket expenses and travel per diem are applicable.
Yeah.
Does that work?
That works?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Carried.
9.4, be it hereby resolved that council accept the 3rd quarter reports from the RCMP as presented.
Can I get a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Jarvis. Seconder, please.
Yep.
Thank you, Councillor Gendron. Did everybody get an opportunity to look at the quarterly reports?
Mhm.
Any questions, comments?
No.
No? Okay. All in favor?
Yep.
Carried.
Nine 9.5.
Well, wait, we might need to slow this down. Can't have rushed you for a 20-minute meeting.
Be it hereby
I'm
resolved.
leaving to drive home, so it
Just
might
slow
be.
down.
Just read slow. Just read
Would you
slow.
like to tell a joke, Councillor Jarvis? Be it hereby resolved that the Board of Revision for the 2025 assessment rules be held on October 17th, 2024 at 7 p.m.
Mover, please. Thank you, Councillor Jarvis. And Councillor Gendron, thank you for seconding that.
Yeah.
So put that in your notes and maybe we could send an email out or something to Councillor Cool and Councillor Kozlowski in terms of putting that date in their books. Oh, did we go on that? All in favor?
Yep.
Carried. Oops.
9.6, compost accessibility at the Village of Denauder landfill.
Okay, so we don't have a resolution for this yet, but just discussion?
That's correct.
Good. So there's been questions about this in the past, about whether taxpayers living in Winnipeg Beach could have access to the compost in Denauder. And so Denauder sent us a letter letting us know that they're gonna be screening the compost this year and to a cost of $12,000 for the screening process. And if the town of Winnipeg Beach would like to make the compost available to our taxpayers, it would be at a cost, a 50-50 cost share for the screening process. That means it would cost us around $6,000. Thoughts on this?
Are we able to talk to townspeople about this? I don't know, like right now town people can't use the compost pile. We can take weeds and stuff, debris there, but we can't get it back.
There's often been lots of interest in wanting to access the compost, and we have lots of gardeners in the area.
Is there a cutoff date for this?
There is not. It's, the last is to think it over, discuss with council, and if there's any questions.
I don't think they're gonna be screening through the winter, but.
Correct.
No, they'll probably be screening in the spring. I'm wondering if we could hold this over until our next meeting so that when Councillor Cool and Councillor Kozlowski is here, and certainly if any of our ratepayers have any thoughts on this, it might be helpful to send me an email, because Sharon is very busy and she doesn't need 150 phone calls from people saying stuff, but you can send an email.
I think, like, they're gonna do this regardless, right? So
Yes.
I would assume that if we decided in May, if we sent it out with the newsletter with property taxes, et cetera, would you be interested in that with some feedback, that we might be able to, we could just opt into this in June if we really, here's $6,000 we'd like to play now. Like, I don't think it's a one-time offer. I think this is probably an open-ended offer.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's take it over, let's carry it over to February's meeting. Councillor Gendron, do you have any thoughts on this?
I do. I am wondering, Sharon, if you could check to see if there is any possibility of the person who allows people into it to keep track of the number of Winnipeg Beach dump passes come in that use it, and that perhaps if that is available, those stats, that we perhaps maybe consider with a full council discussion doing it for 1 year as a trial,
So
and see if we're paying $6,000 for only a handful of residents, or whether it is a viable.
sorry, I'm missing what you're asking of me. You're, like, right now, Donato has stated to me, nobody from Winnipeg Beach has access to the compost. So what am I keeping tabs on?
Not you, checking to see that if we did commit to it for 1 year, would the person who allows access to the compost area be able to keep track of how many residents from Winnipeg Beach are actually using the service, so that we could do it for 1 year as a pilot, and then make a further decision next year after we have data to actually look at.
Councillor Jarvis?
You, not a bad idea, but you circumvent the dump guy anyways, because you have access to dumping your stuff off without even talking to anybody. So if I was to there take my leaves or my debris into the compost area where they receive it, I don't have to speak to anybody. I can bypass the attendant.
She's talking about anybody who's going there to pick up compost. If we,
Yeah, but we're not allowed to pick up compost.
no, what she's saying is we can pass it for us to do it for 1 year, spend $6,000, do it for 1 year, but during that year, keep track of how many people from Winnipeg Beach are actually using it, so we can determine whether it is a good use of our funds at the end of the year.
I can make that request to the CAO. Just based on experience, council, don't be hopeful on a positive response on that. It does then incur additional staff time and tracking for service for us. So there may be additional fees that may be implied. I know if the landfill was ours, my recommendation to council would be not to entertain this additional tracking without additional revenue. So I would suspect that the CAO for Donato would also be making a very similar recommendation to their council.
Okay, but right now, there is interaction with people from Winnipeg Beach by the by the person at the dump because they're keeping them out and telling them that they can't go use it, right? So if the only people right now that can access that, the compost, I am assuming then there is some level of interaction between the person at the dump and every person that comes in and says they are wanting to know if they can get some compost.
I can make the request
Yeah.
via email to the CAO.
Okay. Thank you.
And then it'll come back for discussion for our next meeting,
Yes, if I do get a response for the next meeting.
even if you get a negative response, let's bring it back.
Yes, I will be.
Okay, thank you, Celia. So it's tabled? It's
It
not really
is
because
tabled.
There was no resolution attached, right?
Right, but the item will be tabled just for further discussion.
It's the little stuff that we get hung up on sometimes. That's okay.
9.7 Municipal Northern Relations Bulletin in reference to change in assessment.
It's for the health.
So no resolution needed and no impact to the Winnipeg Beach assessment, but it is a bulletin from Municipal and Northern Relations
Yep.
that should make the agenda.
Yep.
Item 9.8 stars per capita request.
You wanna read it?
I didn't read the resolutions, only if you choose to, so I just gave some information.
Okay. So, STARS has requested ongoing donation in the amount of $1 per capita per year for the STARS Air Ambulance. In 21, we donated $1,145 as we did in 22. In 23, we didn't make a donation at all. Our per capita, right now our census for 2021 is 1439. So it would mean a donation of $1,439. What are people's thoughts?
Were they included on those organizations that were advised of our change in request for grants?
No, stars would not be applying through that system.
Councillor Jarvis?
We seem to be missing years. Is this like an annual thing or?
So,
But like we never saw it last year, so how do we either A, miss it or B, do they promote it?
so there usually is this is new that they're providing a year in review and mission records. In my experience, it's not regularly that they provide that data. So I can only speculate. Our conversion to new municipal software has made it challenging for me to get data past 21. So all I was able to look at, it looks as though in the past councils were receptive to the dollar per capita, but the donations in 21 and 22 were based on the 2016 census. There is no formal resolution that I could locate that sort of gives a commitment to this. Several municipalities do pass a resolution, and I do have one pre-prepared if council is interested in this, just approving the ongoing donations so that it becomes part of your regular budget, but I wasn't able to find anything that was passed by council previously.
And I do think it's a good idea. I mean, STARS provides a very good service to everybody in the rural area. Councillor Jarvis?
I think it's a good idea as well, but I'd just be interested, shouldn't this appear on the provincial budget in their health? How does STARS get funded to begin with? Or is it just going?
They do a lot by
Well, I'm not don't know what they do, but like they must have a budget line somewhere that says air ambulance.
Actually, they get a lot of their funding through donation.
Yeah, they do run fundraiser programs. They had started from a municipal standpoint, so they do look to municipalities to fund their service. They started running almost like an escape island where they would pick a CAO or a member of council and drop them off somewhere, and they would have to survive.
No, I'm
they would
aware
have
of
to
that,
do a big
but they've had
fundraiser.
some of
I know the
that.
people who started this, and they actually, most of the organization is funded through donation. They get very little, if anything, from the province.
Pam,
Yes,
sorry, I
Councillor
just
Jenner.
did look up the answer to that question by Councillor Jarvis, and they are funded through community fundraising, individual donors, corporate supporters, and government. And these things are usually listed in the order of significance, and the government is listed as their last support.
So the question before us is, would we like to make the donation, the $1 per capita, which would come to $1,439?
I think it's money well spent.
Yeah, so do I. Councillor Jarvis?
I'm in.
Okay, so be it resolved that council approve an ongoing donation in the amount of $1 per capita per year to STARS Air Ambulance.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. Seconder, please.
Yep.
Councillor Gendron, all in favor? Carried. Phew. It just about became complicated.
9.9. Be it hereby resolved that council approve the CAO to attend a personal development session request for proposals being held in Winnipeg on February 9th, 2024 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at a cost of $225 plus applicable taxes, out-of-pocket expenses, and travel per diem.
Can I get a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Jarvis. Seconder, please.
Yep.
Thank you, Councillor Gendron. Any discussion?
I would just like to say, when I have the personal development as per part of my designation, I do have to earn PD points to keep my holding, so.
Right. And this would qualify.
And this would qualify.
Brilliant.
Okay then.
All in favor? Carried.
Yep.
Okay.
Item 9.10.
Well, we made it to 6:30.
That's crazy.
Now I know.
So the Manitoba Accessibility Fund grant is now open. So this is on new business for council, more so to provide exposure of this grant and to any organization who may be following council agenda. Administration will not be applying for this grant intake. This is not about infrastructure, and we do currently have an ongoing grant that is not completed in reference to the sign, redoing the signs, the interpretation, as well as updating our website for text to read. So because we do have an ongoing grant with that, this is not dealing with any level of infrastructure. And is dealing more on the level of customer service and employment. Ideally, this may be an opportunity for employers of the community or organizations to be looking at possibly some level of training of what that means to their staff and recognizing barriers. So we've put this on the agenda more for an information piece for other organizations.
Good, yeah. So I was going to suggest, and I don't think we should be applying for any grant for that here, but yeah, other organizations might be interested in that. So info only.
Received as information.
Brilliant.
Item 9.11, electronic sign at an auction for council discussion.
So you can see we've been talking about using digital electronic signs to communicate better with our taxpayers, either over here or the bank and credit union used to be with their side, or over at the rec center. And there is a sign that's available on auction. However, in looking at it, it looks like it might not be a sign that would fit the bill for us. Did you have a chance to talk to Councillor Houle about this?
I did not have the opportunity.
Excuse me. This looks like two one-sided signs back to back, doesn't it? Not a two-sided sign.
Correct.
Correct, and it also, if you look at more of the details, it's very pixelated, so I think it's gonna be very limited on the amount of information we'll be able to get on it. I don't know that it's the kind of sign that we would be looking for.
That we had been discussing.
So our Public Works Manager brought this forward as an opportunity based on budget discussions and conversations in the past in reference to the sign that we do have on the rec building as well as the fire hall building that's not utilized. And so based on those conversations, he's found this at an auction site and is looking, at this point, there has been no bid created, so it's looking, the auction is up tomorrow. The price is still the same at this point at $305. That's the current bid, but we have no idea what may transpire tomorrow.
What does our public works person think of this?
He did reach out to the auction place to find out if we had, that's out there. And they said it was working when it was taken down. And they were looking at hooking it up at the auction site, but I have not received an update that they have hooked it up and that it is functioning.
And what does our public works foreman think?
He's just presented with an opportunity at a cost saving measure. We don't, there was no, looking at the images, there was no make and model on the sign, so we really couldn't do a lot of research on it.
What do you think, Councillor Jarvis?
$305 is probably what you're gonna get back in value.
Just thinking.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy a more expensive one at Costco.
So that's the current price, and so if council is receptive to this, I would need a cap point, because it is an auction and it will be bidding, so if we are looking at it, I would need a cap point for our person, or if we are not interested, that, just to let me know that.
Councillor Gendron, do you have any thoughts on this?
One being if it's a public auction and we're gonna be talking cap, is that an in-camera discussion, or we're gonna publicly discuss what our cap is so that somebody else can outbid us by $1? Is it required to be public discussion, Sharon?
Tricky. It's a tricky one. It could, you know, but again, it's regardless if somebody's outbidding us or not, the reality is this is an expenditure that wasn't identified. And there should be a resolution of authorizing that.
Yes. So my other thought is, I don't know if we, and I might have missed the discussion, but I don't know if we've completely decided on what we're wanting. And therefore, I don't even know if this will be suitable for what we're wanting. But I will go with the majority of the other two people at the table. Because I know I missed some discussion on this at a meeting I wasn't at, so.
Councillor Jarvis.
I'll start. I don't think we need to be interested in this.
You know, there's that part of me that says, it might be a really good sign if we can get it for $306.
What are you, a garage salesperson?
Trying to save the town money. But, you know, but for them to say, well, it was working when we unplugged it, you know, that gives me a bit of pause.
First rainstorm, it goes down.
And we don't know how old it is, we don't know who made it, we can't investigate it, yeah, probably not.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's just walk away. walk away.
But we do appreciate Joe's efforts.
Yes. Tell Joe to keep up the good work.
Okay, additions, traffic logic. Be it hereby resolved that the CAO be authorized to renew the service contract between the town of Winnipeg Beach and Traffic Logics for cloud renewal services for blank year period.
Can I get, what? Sorry, can I get a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Jarvis. The seconder, please?
Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Gendron. So,
This is the radar sign, right on.
It's the speed sign, correct?
Can I vote right away and say no? They drive
No,
through
you
that
can't.
to
No,
see
you
how
can't.
fast they can
Well,
go
we know
through.
which way you're going now, Councillor Jarvis, but I'm kind of leaning that way too,
I watch them speed right
Well, I don't
through.
mean to interrupt you, I would just like to say that I did have a discussion with the CAO, and when previous council first ordered these signs, or this sign, and got into the agreement about collecting the data, it kept getting said that this information would be useful to the RCMP. If we shared it with them, they would know where to be dealing with speeding and issues within this town. So what I would like to see, because I'm also leaning towards no, is would the RCMP be doing anything with this data? Because if they aren't, then collecting it is just collecting it for the sake of doing nothing with it, and our administration doesn't really have time for stuff like that.
well, it would seem to me that we haven't done anything with the cloud data so far. So my question is, are those speed signs still gonna work without collecting the cloud data? Like, is the cloud data,
So I haven't been able to get confirmation on that. Our administration clerk, Jody, had stated she's not sure that we would be able to remove the sign and set it at a different location. So right now we have the two locations at the school, and then in the summer we put it on Park. I think without having the cloud access, and I'm waiting for email verification on that, if we don't have the cloud access where we need to log in, we may not be able to reset the speed sign, the speed limits. I'm not sure though on that.
so there's a difference between, I mean, for me, having the data sitting in a cloud somewhere and paying $500 for a year per sign when we're not using the data, doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well,
However,
it may act as a deterrent. It's certainly a nice reminder when you're going into the school zone.
right, but I'm talking about the difference between having the information sitting in the cloud somewhere versus having the sign there on the side of the road. I think having the sign there on the side of the road sometimes is a deterrent for people, because I see them see the sign and hit the brakes and say, oh, right, I'm supposed to be only doing 30 here right now. But I don't know if the two are connected. So if we don't have the cloud service, does that mean we don't have the signs anymore? Councillor Jarvis.
The busiest time of the entire year is when school is out, so it's moot that it reminds you that there's schools, because after June, when we're busy in July and August, there is no school, so the speed limit's changed.
Right, but then it goes over to 229.
But I see people drive through that regardless, and I have people, I drive the speed limit through the school zone, and people come out of nowhere coming down Churchill, and they're right on my ass.
Yeah, it's not to say that people never speed.
I know, I don't think it's any sort of a deterrent. It's like if the solid line is not a deterrent on Highway 9, then the radar sign's not a deterrent.
Okay.
I do know that in the past, the residents on 229 repeatedly came to council with their concerns and greatly appreciated this sign being there as an awareness for people coming into town off of 229. Particularly people visiting the area who are not necessarily from around here. Not to say that a lot of the speeders that they said they were encountering were also local. So I'm just wondering if we can defer this until we can find out whether we need cloud access to actually use the sign.
So the contract is up February 1st. My question to council is, did this not come before council in
No.
2022? Because a new agreement was signed December 1st of 22, which is previous to me being here,
Are you kidding?
Yeah,
for a one-year term.
Councillor Jarvis?
it never came to council, it was signed by the acting CAO at the time.
Correct.
I saw it.
It was
It
signed.
never came to council that I know of. Councillor Gendron, do you remember it ever coming to council?
I don't know what I had for lunch, Councillor Jarvis.
Oh, I have a comment.
I'm gonna take a quick look to see if it was on the November agenda, but no, I don't, I'm gonna go with your memory over mine.
I don't remember it ever coming to council. So we did
Yeah.
that last year without a resolution. Is that what you're suggesting?
It was,
There was no resolution to sign the contract, but that seemed to be quite normal procedure.
Yeah.
That is why I usually like to have a resolution. But that's what, with no resolution, even if something was listed on the agenda, there's no feedback as to what was discussed or what.
So Sharon, could the resolution read that we authorize the CAO to enter into a one-year contract if being access to the cloud is required for the use of the sign? Then you can get your information, and if it is required for us to be able to change the speed, I mean, we don't want to not use them. And that way, if it's required for us to be able to change the speed, then you've got the okay to sign it. If it's not required for us to be able to change the speed, then we don't really need that data sitting on the cloud. But given the time crunch you're
Yeah,
under.
I don't think that we need the data at all. I think it's a bit of a bigger discussion to get rid of the signs, especially on 229. I'm worried about that. So yeah, I would agree with you. If we,
yeah, what?
if we don't need the cloud service and we can still keep the signs, then let's not do the agreement. If we need the agreement to keep the signs, then let's do it for 1 year, and that gives us some time to make a decision. Councillor Jarvis?
Do we own the signs?
We do.
Then just leave the sign as a deterrent. I don't wanna sound crazy, but these people don't pay attention to parking signs.
Okay.
Yeah, like,
But-
even if you do have the information and the RCMP can't use it, I mean, it's just you're paying for something that nobody will use.
So what we're not sure of is, because we do have to log into the program if you're resetting or changing speed limits. And so this is an addition because this is short notice that I received the email on this renewal. And so it was unbeknownst to me, and I was not able to find anything in the past that this was an item. And the renewal contract is up February 1st. So I do not know if I did send an email off to find out if the cloud program is required for us to use the sign. That's the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my mind, I'm not sure how it's reading the speed signs if there's not some sort of cloud-based data, like how they work. I don't know how they work, so I'm not gonna pretend I know how they work. So that's the unknown, is that we don't know if our login, if we still have access to our login to monitor and utilize the sign is still valid without the service agreement. That is the unknown right now.
And I feel uncomfortable today making a decision to not sign up knowing that we might lose the signs without being able to hear from Councillor Houle and Councillor Kozlowski. I don't care if we have access to the information on the cloud, because I don't think that we use it anyways, and the RCMP don't use it, so I don't think that's a good use of funds, but that's different if it means we lose the signs. So can we,
So as per Councillor Gendron's request, We could have that resolution read, be it hereby resolved that the CO be authorized to renew the service contract between the town of Winnipeg Beach and Traffic Logics for the cloud renewal service for a 1-year period, providing the cloud is required to utilize the sign.
Yep.
Does that work?
Yep.
Yep.
Do I have to write that all down here?
No, I will. That's my only unknown. If we don't have the service agreement, I don't know if I still have access to use the sign.
Yeah.
Right, so regardless, if we don't have the cloud, then what do we do with the sign?
That's,
Well,
clearly
we have to figure that
then
out.
sign the
We need to have a
service
larger
agreement.
conversation.
Yeah, like I just don't wanna commit to $500 if we've never used it before and it's never been, I don't wanna commit to any money if we are gathering data and it's going in a shoebox in the attic.
That's what we're saying. If
Yeah.
it's just gathering data, then we should not be doing it. But if we need to be connected to the cloud service to be able to use the signs, then we should be doing it. Until we can have a full discussion at the table. Okay, all in favor?
Yep.
Terry?
Item, addition
Where are we at?
10.2.
10.2. Do we have a resolution for that?
I do have, sorry, yes, I do have a resolution for that.
Just checking.
Be it hereby resolved that council approve the rec manager and public works manager to attend the Connect 2024 conference being held in Winnipeg from March 13th to the 15th, 2024, at a cost of $485 plus applicable taxes, out-of-pocket expenses, and travel per diem.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis. And a seconder, please?
Yep.
Councillor Gendron. Discussion?
Yeah, I don't, I read through the agenda and I don't even, and maybe the managers, the public work manager and the rec manager can give us some sort of an idea how it fits into our rec center. Because there are things like splash pads, et cetera.
There's different sessions one can be going to. It certainly seems that it, I mean, this is the usual rec manager conference. And
Correct.
there's a lot in there that's gonna be very helpful for our rec manager. And I see that there's also some ice plant stuff there. I would imagine that's,
That's the only thing, there's maybe two things in the whole thing that I noticed that might actually benefit us. But most of it, like when you're saying, you know, special events in your pool, a how-to guide, demystifying social media and website accessibility, collective capital equipment, parks and facilities inventory. I just didn't see an awful lot of stuff. There's maybe 2 or 3 things, that's fine, but, you know, for $485 per person, and then all the out-of-pocket expenses, et cetera, just, I thought they should have more things like planning and that, but I didn't see an awful lot in the agenda.
I think there's a lot on here for our rec manager, for sure.
So I would like to be clear, this is Recreation Manitoba, although it says
Mhm.
Connects, it is hosted by Recreation Manitoba, and it is a standard conference for
Absolutely.
rec facilitators or rec directors that normally attend.
Absolutely. And it's the same as us attending the AMM. There's lots of networking that happens as well. You learn from other rec managers, all those
Well,
kinds
I
of
wouldn't
things.
say it's the same as the AMM, but.
It's the same kind of idea.
It's the same kind of idea, but then again, without getting into a Centennial Pool and Fitness Center and just, like if we had a swimming pool and a splash pad maybe, but, and I'm not, if they've done it in the past, then I'm not gonna say anything about it, but it just seemed there's an awful lot of material there that doesn't apply to us.
So the breakout sessions, there's 3 items per breakout session, so it's not as if all of this would be attended by our participants. So they have those time slots, and so there's 3 choices per time slot for the courses, the workshops.
Mhm.
So with these, where are we looking at?
Yeah, so there's the St. James Centennial Pool, but instead of going to that session, she can also be going to the stress and helping people find health through resets. She could be going to the inclusion workshop. The next workshop is the drowning workshop. We live next to the lake.
Talking to your council workshop.
Well, we got one again, on 9 to 10, you got asset reports and facility planning, then you got the National Drowning Prevention Week, and then talking to your council.
So you can only attend one of those.
I understand that, so which one do you we don't have a pool.
Personally, I think they would both benefit from talking to your council.
There's that. Okay. Councillor Gendron, do you want to weigh in, please?
Yeah, our public works manager, he and his team are responsible for our facility, our recreation facility. When a public works manager goes to public work events, I've looked at agendas in the past, and he's not often exposed to things like how to talk to your council. And there was a couple of other things that just let me look further. He doesn't get the necessarily get the interaction sessions with the public, and mental health is one of the pieces here. He has a team of people reporting to him. Understanding and being able to respond to mental health issues when you have staff reporting to you these days is extremely important, and important when you're dealing with the public. So I can certainly understand Councillor Jarvis's point that there are a lot of things on here that might not be relevant. I personally see that there are enough things that I think would be relevant for both of them.
Yeah, myself as well. Councillor Jarvis, might you agree with us?
No.
Okay, so you don't believe that either of our staff people should be going to this?
I don't think it's something that applies to us, but again, I'll support a decision that council makes, but you asked me my opinion, I don't want to start reading it out loud, but I looked at, and I said initially, there's 2 or 3 things that I think are beneficial. Now, if they could get into those, I say, yeah, get into the ice plant, the facility management course. But I just don't see, like inclusion, designing and belonging, stress your health and ways to reset. Like
for a recreation manager, those things are important, Councillor Jarvis, because they're trying to, oops, I just did something on my computer. They're trying to provide. Okay.
That's just my personal opinion, sorry. So.
Okay, well, I would agree that both our rec manager and our public works manager should attend. I think there's enough there that's going to be helpful for them. I think it's a way of supporting our staff. I don't believe that our public works manager would be asking to go to a conference if he didn't think it would be helpful. He's a hard worker here.
I didn't say he wasn't.
Oh no, I know. And really dedicated to his job, and so he's not the kind of guy who would say, yeah, there's stuff I have to do at Winnipeg Beach, but I want to go and sit at this conference anyways. He's not the kind of guy I think who likes to waste his time. So if he's suggesting that there are things here that he's going to find helpful to do his job, and if our rec director is saying that there's things here that's going to be helpful to do their job, I think that we should support them. And that's what I think. Councillor Gendron, your thoughts?
I expressed my thoughts. We might as well just take it to a vote, unless Councillor Jarvis had anything else to add.
No, I'm good.
All in favor?
Yep.
Councillor Jarvis?
Yep.
That means it's defeated.
Pardon?
That means it's defeated.
No, it is 2-1.
No, it's not. If 2 of us supported it in one.
That's what I said. I said I would support it.
Oh.
I'll do the math for you, Pam.
I was thinking about, we're not, okay.
We're only 3, Pam.
We're only 3.
You need a quorum. You need 3 people.
Quorum. Let's go next.
11.4, be it resolved that council accept the committee reports as presented.
Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Jarvis.
Fine, are we still able to talk about those?
Can I have a seconder, please?
Yep.
Councillor Gendron. Committee reports. Everybody, Councillor Jarvis?
I just wanted to draw attention to the certificate of completion for our rec manager for the Indigenous awareness training.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
I just didn't want to bypass it, it was there, so I want to make sure that we're aware of it.
Absolutely. Have people gotten a chance to read the other reports? Public Works?
I'm sorry, Mayor Jackson, I didn't hear a word Councillor Jarvis said there.
Councillor Jarvis, did you want to repeat yourself?
I think it was just draw attention to the fact that our recreation manager has completed her training for Indigenous awareness.
Oh,
The certificate
thank you.
is posted there.
Thank you.
Very good. Any other comments about the Public Works? All in favor? Carried.
Council committee and board reports roundtable discussion.
Councillor Jarvis and I and Councillor Kozlowski attended the Evergreen School Division breakfast meeting on Monday. Is that Monday? Yes.
Monday.
Did you want to say anything about that meeting, Councillor Jarvis? Report back?
I went to the one last year and this one was way better, not because we got a free breakfast, but this one was way better. More people were involved.
Mhm.
Last year we just had the local school trustees, but this one was for all of the Interlake. And it was good questions. I was glad that the MLA was there, so on and so forth, and I thought the presentation was superb. And I think we're headed in the right direction for a literacy program.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think the school division, the trustees are working really, really hard in terms of changing our literacy rates for people who aren't aware. They've moved from the old, the past way of teaching reading, and they've gone back to phonics, which is wonderful. And they're already seeing some positive changes in that regard. They've got a really good learning team that are learning specialists that are helping kids get up to speed with their reading. A lot of the specialists were there and chatting with us. It seems that they have some really good programs, and they're very committed to getting the literacy level up to, I think, all students passing with 80% passing grades within the next 2
Yeah,
to
they
3
wanted
years.
to at least get to 80, because I don't even think that we're passing. I don't
Yeah,
think
exactly.
We're in the 40s right now.
Yeah.
And their ambition is to get to the 80s.
Yeah, to 80% passing. So
40s?
Well,
Yeah.
we had mentioned that at a council meeting here, and I spoke about it at the meeting, is that they're heaven forbid, they're lowering the standard of reading level now, even in governments, because reading and comprehension is a severe problem.
And they realized that the back in the day, I'm aging ourselves here, but we probably learned reading through phonics, as probably everybody here did. And then they decided to change how they were going to teach reading in the schools. And what they found out now, that the new strategy back then, there was no research showing that it actually helped people learn to read. And in fact, there's research showing that it helped people learn not to read. And so they're finding that the literacy rate in Manitoba has really decreased. And so they've moved back to the old way of doing it in a new kind of way, if that makes sense. And it's going really well. So I was pretty impressed with that. Councillor Gendron, you were at the Red River Basin workshop. Did you want to comment about that?
So I attended the River Basin Mission Conference in Fargo, January the 16th to the 18th, and there was representation from Minnesota, North Dakota, and Manitoba. And additionally, there were also presenters from Ottawa and Washington. There was lots of information on things that are being done for the health of the Red River, which then trickles down to the health of Lake Winnipeg. There were a variety of presentations on topics such as grazing practices that are being used to maintain soil moisture and health, as well as reducing runoff and being able to maintain nutrition levels. Presentation in regard to water retention and practices that are being used throughout the basin to reduce peak flows for spring runoff and water retention for human consumption, and water retention and restoration in some cases to restore wetlands. Presentation in relation to sewage treatment plants and the exciting work that can be implemented to improve the outflow, to improve the health of the river and the lake. There was a presentation on weather modeling and how weather can impact flood outlook and soil moisture for the upcoming year, as well as phosphorus and nitrogen reduction mitigation to help with the health of the river and the lake as well. A couple of takeaways, big takeaways for me were there was a presentation regarding collaborative work being done by municipalities and counties getting together and working to achieve water co-op. So while it isn't a water co-op we need, we do know that some of our high water flooding areas, for example, along Churchill, I believe just south of Princeton on the west side, is actually a direct result of what's happening in surrounding communities.
Yeah.
So I would like to see a collaborative effort to address this issue proactively rather than reactively. We got away with it last year because it was a dry, we weren't experiencing flooding, but it could be around the corner again. So I would like to see if we can get some conversations going on with neighboring communities. And the other one was a presentation regarding lake sturgeon and what's being done to improve spawning habits and the movement of the fish. Work is being done has been done over the last few years to reduce obstructions in different tributaries to help with the movement of the lake sturgeon. Stocking has been going on for many years, and in Minnesota it was done at a secret location in 2023, and those fish are now making their way north. And as I confirmed with Carlos last night, they have made their way as far north as Lake Winnipeg. So that's certainly
Cool.
a nice end result to a lot of work that's been going on for several years.
That's good. Councillor Jen, you're on EIWD, aren't you? Eastern Interlake Watershed District? Or is that you?
No, that's you.
No, I gave that.
You know what, Pam? Yes, I'm sorry, Mayor Jackson. Yes, you asked me when we did a little bit of a swap, but I've heard nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you might want to get in touch with them to see where the next meeting is, because when I was sitting on EIWD, I had been having conversations with the mayor from Toulon and the mayor from Gimli in terms of the three of us getting together and looking at some of the overland flooding problems, because Toulon's very aware of the fact that we get the wall of water from the west, usually when our water here is the highest. And I know a couple of years ago, they actually held back some of the water, which thus flooded out the town of Toulon, because they knew that if they let it go, it would probably take us out. And so I have suggested to them that the three of us municipalities get together and start looking at a total drainage plan that doesn't just include our community, and that we also have our public work foreman coming to those meetings as well, because we can talk about the generalities in terms of what we'd like to see, but it's our public work foremans who are going to know how to get it done. And we had been asking Eastern Interlake Watershed District to set those meetings up for us, but that's never happened. And so I think maybe, especially since you've just come back from that conference, when you get back here, I'm wondering whether it would make some sense for us to reach out to Toulon and Gimli and see if we can, and they were very, very favorable in terms of the three of us meeting and coming up with a larger drainage plan.
That sounds great, Mayor Jackson. It was a really motivating conference, and I have been thinking, okay, how can I keep this momentum going? Unfortunately, there wasn't anyone there from Gimli, so, but absolutely, when I get back, I will, Sharon, I'll be in touch with you for a little direction on how I might move forward with this, if you're okay with that.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Great, thanks a lot.
Yep. Any other discussion around roundtable? Anything else you've attended? Councillor Jarvis, want to report back on?
Nothing.
No? Okay. We don't have a resolution for that, do we?
No, it's just round table.
Thank you.
13.1 correspondence. Be it hereby resolved that correspondence be accepted as circulated.
Can I get a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Jarvis. Can I get a seconder, please?
Yep,
Thank you, Councillor Gendron.
yep.
I trust that everybody had an opportunity to look at all the correspondence. Is there any questions, comments, or points of discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor? Carried?
Yep.
Oh my God. And we're not going in camera. Well, I'm sorry you guys had to come out for just an hour, but I think our meeting is
The
over.
good shows don't start till 8 anyways.
Well, I was gonna say, it's no real difference.
That's true, that's
10 after
true.
7, it's usually about the same.
Yeah, that's true.
Do we have any input on this Donato, subject?
Well, we actually have to adjourn the
I
meeting
was gonna say,
first.
we gotta close the meeting first.
Oh, I see. And then we can say something?
Sure.
That's good.
Be it hereby resolved that council adjourns the regular meeting at 7:10 PM.
Can I get a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Jarvis. Can I get a seconder, please, Councillor Gendron?
Yes,
All in favor?
yes.
Carried?